Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. It is the Merseyside derby at Anfield. Liverpool versus Everton on Monday night. This is always probably the hardest game to talk about during the season. Let's make sure we've got one to talk about next season. Will be the main thing. But this is just like if we'd been sat here last week talking about this, you know, there would have just been nothing but like negativity, and obviously after the month we'd had in January. But we sit here now, we've got a win under our belt against the team top of the league. Liverpool have just been battered again away from home, and yeah, it sets it up to be a very interesting game.
Are you going into the that sense of, you know, false security?
No, never, ever will I feel
we've
like...
done enough of these.
No, never will I feel like Everton have got an opportunity to win.
Liverpool have lost one of the last 22 home derbies. That was in lockdown. Yeah. So that tells you the size of the task. However, the flip side of that is they've shown lately that they're not in great form. You know, they've lost... I think they lost the last 3 away games, 3-0 or something like that, or certainly the last 2 they've lost 3-0 and got beat by Brighton in the cup as well. But it's at Anfield, not away. Yeah. So there's the first issue. But they're just not playing well, and speaking to the lads in here, the Redmen lads, they are worried about the game. They're worried about the midfield. And for Everton, from an Everton perspective, is obviously we've had a situation where we were just going through the motions almost. It was just, right, one game off, right, another game off. And by the time, you know, the next week came, you were thinking, can we change it? We've changed the manager, which is obviously give us that lift last week. Sean Dyche coming in and got his tactics spot on. Big win against Arsenal. And now we go to Anfield and we've got to try and exploit them. I think the problem is their forwards aren't flying at the minute. And that's a worry, because you do think at some stage it'll click. But other teams have had the ability to hurt them in the final third, and we haven't scored enough goals. We haven't got enough goals in us, and that's where you do look and think, can Everton hurt them? But, you know, set pieces and stuff, you never know.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, I did a Oppo preview with the Redmen, and just talking about the game, and you know, they were talking like we'd been sensational for months. Like we've had one good game really in months, and it was like, oh, we can't cope with your midfield. It's like the midfield we invented at the weekend. You know, it was quite funny to hear, but you know, they were obviously talking about their front three and trying to get like hurt, like Seamus Coleman, utilise that, and it was just funny to hear them talk, because they haven't been used to going through a season like this probably since lockdown, or that's the only season. You know, I think didn't he lose like 6 home games on the bounce? Which, I mean, again, lockdown was an oddity. The whole thing was an oddity. It threw up lots of very strange results, but I think for us, what we do is we go there with a week of clear planning, clear instruction on the training pitch, no slacking off, you know, getting fitter, hopefully taking in the instructions like they did for the Arsenal game, and being prepared. And I think our job is quite easy in terms of what we need to do. You know, I don't think Liverpool are flying, but don't think their midfield's flying. I think defensively they look strained. So it is all going to be about their front three or front four, whichever way you look at it. And it'll be the same, doing what we did to Arsenal, stopping the passing lanes, making sure we're not defending on the 6-yard line. You know, we went there last year and we frustrated them for a large part of the game, but we were getting deeper and deeper as the game went on, and obviously we had a couple of half chances and penalty shout and things like that. But we contested the game at least for a good portion of it, but we never really looked like a major threat in the game. I think this time we've got to go there and obviously do what we did on Saturday, which frustrate the opposition. Obviously it's away, so it's different. But frustrate the opposition, and if those chances do come up, You've got to take them, and that's, again, you're absolutely spot on what you said before. That's been the tough part all season. Loads of people, you could turn around the season and look at Everton and say, well, he's made this chance and made that chance, and it's just about finishing them. Yeah, that's the problem. We don't finish them. We don't have enough players to put the ball in the back of the net. Natural finishes. We snatch at chances. We done it on Saturday against Arsenal. We don't have enough finishes in the team to put games to bed, and that's where this game, I think we will get chances, but if we don't take them, set pieces, again, that'll be a big part of it, and I'm sure we'll be coming up with the plans to get at wherever Liverpool's weaknesses are. But if we get chances, we have to take them. Because I know, listen, if Liverpool make chances at home, they're always likely to take, the one or two. And that's been the issue. Forget about Saturday's game with Arsenal. That's been the issue, hasn't it? Teams have been getting a couple of chances, taking them, and the game's been over. And that is that's the big hurdle that Sean Dyche has to get over it, or has to get through to this Everton team. Now, if you go one behind, what have you got? How are you going to react? And I'm sure that's going to be part of the plan, because you can't bury your head in the sand and say that's not going to happen. So it's a big game. And it'll be to see where, forget about being a Merseyside derby, it's going to be a game to see where we are going into a couple of games coming up, which are huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, in some respects, it's another good game for Sean Dyche. He had Arsenal at home. They were always going to be expected to win. He was always going to be on the front foot. We can do the job we do and make sure we're organised, like you've just said. It'll be the same at Anfield. We'll have to do the job we do. We'll have to make sure we're compact and make sure that Liverpool are frustrated, 4-5-1. But when we break, we have to break correctly. We have to try to win the midfield. I think our midfield can overpower their midfield. Talking to the lads, and they're like, we've got an 18-year-old who's holding the midfield together.
Yeah.
Because the others aren't fit for purpose. Their words, not mine.
Yeah.
So you would think Everton have got an opportunity to get hold of that, but if they play on the counter-attack, they've got pace. Nunez is lightning. Gakpo's really quick. Salah's quick. There's such a fast front three. Other teams have got away with it. Other teams have frustrated them. Other teams have dug in and got results against them. We're going to have to do the same. We're going to have to make sure that, we don't allow them space in behind, otherwise we're in trouble. But, Sean Dyche, he was the man that ended their 68-game unbeaten run at Anfield.
Yeah.
With Burnley. So he does know how to go and get a result at Anfield. It will be difficult. I don't care what form Liverpool are in, they're still a top side. And we have to go and worry about ourselves, And one thing that Everton have improved of late is the set pieces. And we've got 3 of our last 5 Premier League goals have been from set pieces.
Yeah.
And we'd scored 3 in 30 before then, which shows you the upturn in that, And at the weekend against Arsenal, we were doing the back post corner, and Arsenal couldn't cope with it. Liverpool, seen Alisson coming for something the other day against Wolves and getting nowhere near it and things like that. So Everton do have to try to use them at the advantage. But it'll be a good test to see where... Yeah. And for Sean Dyche, he'll learn a lot, I think.
Yeah.
He'll learn a lot from mentality. What's it like going to Anfield? Local derby, not in the bottom 3. It's a big game, and can you follow the plan away from home? It's okay being at home and your crowd are helping you through. Can you do it away? But a lot of Evertonians, and the message should be, well, you know what? These aren't in great form. There's an opportunity here. You go to Anfield a lot of other times and they're brilliant, they're top of the league, or they're up there, they're battering teams. And in some of them games, we've actually gone there and done all right when we've thought this could be a pace. We've actually gone and done okay. So, but it'd be amazing to go there and just get another win and imagine that. But we've got to go and put a performance.
Yeah.
I'm more interested now. Not more interested in the win, but I'm more interested now in Everton getting a level of performance that I know they're going to stick to the game plan every week. Because I think under Frank Lampard, it was just like that.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
You've never seen it.
Liverpool, oddly, I think this will only be Liverpool's 3rd home game in the Premier League. I don't know whether that's the same as everyone else, but it just feels like they haven't played that many home games since they come back from the World Cup. So this is the 3rd one. They beat Leicester and they drew with Chelsea. the way they formed that in. They might have... No,
We've had 3, haven't we?
Yeah, this will be their third. They played the cup game against Wolves as well, so it doesn't feel like they've had that many home games, so there's not a massive amount of body of evidence to see where they are. We know away from home they've been really, really struggling, but they took 4 points in the two Premier League games anyway, so their fans are hating, as I said, but it's up to us, isn't it? It's up to us to, like you just said, to put a level of performance in, because this was the thing last year when Frank Lampard came in. The home performances were all right, and then the away performance would just be a massive drop-off.
Yeah.
Whereas that's where I think, again, it's getting that level of consistency that we've not seen in an Everton team for a while. In this season, you might have a good game, and then you'll have a terrible game, then you might have an even game, and then it's been up and down far too much. We have to get that level of consistency. But are you expecting Frank Lampard to go...
I'll be not
Sean
expecting
Dyche,
Frank Lampard to be anywhere near it.
Are you expecting Sean Dyche to look for a similar kind of shape in this game, or do you think he'll change it from the victory against Arsenal?
No,
because that shape can move round, can't it?
I think the shape will be the same.
Yeah.
I think the shape will be the same, and whoever it is, the Corey or Onana, will be tasked with breaking and trying to get alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The only one area where you think, would he bring in Ben Godfrey at right back instead of Seamus to try and deal with Nunez or Gakpo, the pace of that? Yeah. But that's a risk, because obviously Godfrey's basically a centre-back, and then what you'd be doing is... I know he's played left-back and he's done it really well under Carlo, and he is a tough tackler and he's quick and breaking himself when he gets set off on a run. He can't keep up with him. Seamus hasn't got that. He's got the man-to-man thing, and he does it quite well, but in a foot race, is he exposed? And it'll be how far up Everton go up the pitch without wanting... Sean Dyche won't want to leave gaps in behind. So that's just an interesting one, is whether he tinkers with the Godfrey thing. The Mari Gray's another option, pace on the break, but then you'd be weakening the midfield 3. So I wouldn't expect it. Maybe Coleman or Michalenko for Ben Godfrey might be one.
Let's just have a look at the Everton team from the game against Arsenal. There you go.
Coleman, Cody, Tarkovsky, Michalenko, and then that 5 across the middle. Awobi, Decore, Garner, Onana, McNeil and Calvert-Lewin. And when you looked at the average positions, actually from the game, even though we set up in a 4-5-1, a lot of time it was a 4-1-4-1.
Yeah.
And Garner actually played the 6 perfectly. He sat exactly where you want him to do, and that's what Everton have to do that at the weekend. They have to make sure that, and they will, or you'd expect them to, because that's what they'll be working on. Get the structure right. And you're absolutely right. We went to Anfield last season. Again, we were in the bottom 3. We weren't in good form at all.
Yeah.
And we went in. Liverpool were obviously flying, going for the league.
Yeah.
And we frustrated them for whatever it was, 70 minutes.
Let's have a little look at Liverpool's team from the game against Wolves. So obviously Mathew and Gomez at the back there, they can be better. I think if Dom's on it, I think he can get at both of them. The midfield 3, again, there's different amounts of experience in there. Thiago hasn't been pulling up any threes of late. The young lad there holding the midfield, and Naby Keita has been in and out for the whole time he's been at Liverpool. Liverpool's front 3 is still extremely strong. Obviously Salah, who's been in and out of form this year. Nunez, who's still a massive conundrum. Seems to have all the talent in the world.
He'll get it right at some
stage. And Gakpo's obviously new to the league, and obviously Everton were linked with him at various times in the last few months. So we know you can bemoan. Liverpool fans can bemoan, and then you look at the team and go, yeah, that front 3 is still really, really good.
Yeah, the midfield. You look at the midfield and you go, not what Liverpool. It's not what has been Liverpool's strength for so many years, but the front 3, the front 3 are a threat. Let's
look at Nunez's numbers for the year so far. I mean, 15 games, still got 5 goals, 2 assists, shots per game 4.1. So I mean, that's one of the highest I think we've seen this season, isn't it? At some point, you think he's going to get it right at some point, and if it does click for him, then for that many shots in a game, let's just hope it doesn't click.
He will.
Hope it doesn't click on Monday.
He'll come good for Liverpool because the power and the pace.
Are you just crying it in?
I'm talking about overall. I won't necessarily talk about Monday.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is he'll come good for Liverpool. If you're getting that many shots away, he's got 1 in 3. Not terrible. He'd be Everton's top scorer with 5 goals.
No,
So I'm
not saying he's bad.
He's whether he becomes like Mo Salah, Mane, Firmino levels that Liverpool have been able to rely on, but he'll always be a threat because that pace and the power of him is a threat. Whether he ends up with the right composure that Liverpool need long term,
experience as well, isn't
but
it?
he's quick.
Yeah,
he's quick and it's half the battle if you're fast, isn't it? We'll have to be on our mettle. We'll have to make sure we looked after him pretty well at Goodison. In the, I know we had that one tremendous volley, which Pickford made a brilliant save from onto the bar. But in general, we looked after him quite well. But we will probably have to sit deep. But
yeah. I think for us as our centre backs, I don't think anything changes. Does it? I mean, I know it's a completely different kind of style than what Arsenal showed up against us, but it's another test, isn't it? And like we said, it's a learning curve for us as much as it is for them, because we're seeing what this, whether the team has got the components to. And I think, when Sean Dyche come in, we looked at both of the games and thought, get a couple of draws out of that'd be great. But we've already won one.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we could get, say, a point out of this, then we're in our minds we're ahead of schedule, aren't we? So you've got to start looking at picking up the wins against the teams who are in and around us, or certainly in the bottom half of the table, and they're the ones where you start adding them and you feel more confident. So listen, it doesn't matter if Everton were top of the league. I hate this game. I hate this game. Let's be honest, we all do. It's horrible. I think Liverpool fans are the same, because they're always terrified that we'll beat them, and obviously because we don't beat them that often, that it
becomes worse.
It becomes worse, doesn't it? You're like waiting for that thing to happen. So very, very tough game.
It's the most drawn fixture in the Premier League.
And if that continues, I have no problem.
Be delighted.
I have no problem with that. So I don't think any of us like it. I don't think anyone likes it. And they oh, woe me, aren't they, at the moment? Oh, the world's falling down, isn't it? Well, yeah.
I'll be dancing on Monday night if it ends, if we're unbeaten.
Dancing in the streets of Playa Las Americas.
if we come out of it unbeaten, with however that plays out, a win, I might have 2 points. But if we're unbeaten when it finishes, then we'll have done tremendously well out of these 2.
Let me just tell you this.
Come on.
The one and only time I went to Tenerife, the Kevin Campbell derby was the night before. Just saying. I'm just saying. Okay. It's a very tedious link.
And it happened.
And it happened years and years ago. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on the Merseyside derby. Are you looking forward to it? And listen, Reds, because I know you're watching.
Yeah.
I know you're watching. How are you feeling ahead of this game? Let us know your thoughts in the comments as well. Make sure, and Reds, subscribe, because I know you love the content. I know you love it, so you might as well just subscribe, mightn't you? Just subscribe.
Get it done.
Get it done. If you all subscribe, if all the Reds watching subscribed, you'd get us over 100,000. No issue, because you all watch.
They watch your aftermatch stuff. They love your player ratings. They love it.
They love it. So let us know your thoughts and make it. Subscribe. And if you want more great videos, exclusive daily live videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premier. The link is in the description. And it'll be on the screen in a moment. See you later.